From some awkward first days on set to some clever costume design tricks, these are the craziest behind-the-scenes moments and fun facts about Bridgerton. Over the last few years, Bridgerton has become a worldwide sensation. The Netflix original has elegantly blended pieces of 19th century England along with pieces of our own modern culture. But not everything is as it seems on screen. As with most of Hollywood productions, what goes on behind the scenes is often shocking. First up, let's talk about sex. No, seriously. As we all know, Bridgerton has its fair share of sex scenes. Don't worry, they make sure to class it up with some elegant music. And these scenes aren't your average television sex scenes. They are incredibly rehearsed, all the way down to hand placement and single breaths. In fact, they had an intimate coordinator to carefully choreograph all these scenes. These scenes were crafted and blocked out weeks before they even filmed them. Wow! That explains how everything is so perfectly steamy. One of the very first sex scenes in the show was a scene between Simon and Daphne in the library. The two actresses in that scene were Phoebe Dynevor and Regé-Jean Page. And not only was it the two's first day on set, but this also just happened to be Phoebe's first scene as Daphne on the show. Talk about starting off with a bang. It was a very close encounter in the library because we are both very well behaved and scholarly young people, said Regé. Sure, that's the reason. The crazy thing is, Phoebe isn't the only one to film a sex scene on her first day. In an interview, Jonathan Bailey, who plays Anthony, also filmed a sex scene against a tree on his first day. Netflix really wasted no time. Speaking of wasting no time, did you know Nicola Coughlan got the part of Penelope after just one audition? Talk about being right for the part. She didn't even have a full script for the audition. And it's a good thing she got the part, because could you imagine Bridgerton without this Penelope? Although, on the first day of filming, the director did want to make one simple change to Nicola's character. Nicola is quite a bit shorter than the rest of the cast, so they had her wear heels to be eye level with everyone else. She tripped and fell multiple times on her first day, so they decided to just let her be shorter. No harm, right? What can cause harm is filming with live animals. This should be left to trained professionals, you would think. Jonathan said his first horse riding scene with Phoebe was the funniest scene to film. To perform the scenes on horseback, the cast had to go through an entire boot camp. They had to learn to talk.
We simply enjoyed each other's company so much we could not stay away from one another.
Eat, perform their lines, and do pretty much anything needed, all while riding these horses. After weeks of learning and preparing, it was finally time to film the scene. As the director yelled action, the horse had different ideas. The horse literally went backwards. Oof, tough scene. The two couldn't even get the words out for the scenes, as the horses continued to walk back and forth. We were crying laughing. Turns out these elegant moments weren't quite so elegant behind the scenes. Who would have thought? Learning to ride horses wasn't the only thing this crew had to prepare for. In fact, there were several classes or boot camps that the actors and actresses had to take part in. One of which proved to be a vital part of the show: dance classes. Could you imagine Bridgerton with clunky, non-elegant dance scenes? Turns out that's very well what we could have gotten. Both Phoebe and Regé-Jean were incredibly worried about these scenes. Don't worry guys, it's only dancing in front of a few million people. To get it down, they attended weeks worth of dance classes. On one occasion, they realized that it was all about them. Eye contact? No, seriously, eye contact. That's all it takes. Well, that and some natural coordination and beauty of these two. Dance classes were the least of this cast's worries. Considering they were portraying an upper-class family in 19th century England, they needed to master something much more complex than dancing etiquette. That's right, the cast had to take a 6-week crash course on etiquette. How exciting! They couldn't just rely on their natural acting skills. No, they had to learn how to walk, talk, interact with others, wave, eat, and relearn how to do pretty much anything and everything. I'd say it paid off. Don't worry, we're still not done with the classes this cast had to take. Sheesh, did they ever get a break? Regé-Jean had to take boxing lessons. Seriously? When you think about it, this makes sense. Modern-day boxing looks nothing like we see the Duke perform in the show. So obviously, Regé-Jean had to learn that style. But an entire class? Netflix made sure this production was top tier. Almost as top tier as those acting horses. Oh, and about those horses. They weren't all real. Specifically, the carriage scenes. Every scene in a carriage being pulled by horses were inside the studio. The horses and the entire outside the carriage was nothing more than a green screen. The rest of the crew picked them up and gave the illusion that the carriage was moving. Wait, could I be telling you that not everything is as it seems in Hollywood? Another fact that will make you gasp was when a member of the cast gave a little too much information on her personal life. In an interview, Claudia Jessie recalled back when someone on set pointed out that she was similar to her character, Eloise.
What's your name?
Eloise Bridgerton.
Pleased to meet you, Miss Eloise.
Well, yeah, we're both quite funny. We're both smokers and we're both virgins. Wow, that's a lot of information, Claudia. And Claudia isn't the only one who is prone to giving too much information. When the cast was asked about who loved gossip the most, the consensus was none other than Nicola. Oh, Nicola, that explains why the role of Penelope came so easily.
Mama, might I go play with Eloise?
Lady does not play Penelope.
Forgive me, Mama. Might I go promenade for suitors with Eloise?
Very well then.
Another role that came easily was that of Daphne, played by Phoebe Dynevor. Not only did she get the role just a few days after auditioning, but it quite literally saved her career. Before going into audition along with Regé-Jean Page, Phoebe had decided it was time to give up acting. She had been living in Los Angeles for almost a year, and she felt it was best for her to move back home to England. After booking her flight, fate intervened. She got a call about going in to read lines for this part, and she almost didn't do it. She had to move her flight, all for an audition that guaranteed nothing. But she went in, and the rest is history. The day after the audition, she was told that Netflix would take care of her flight back to London, because she had to be at rehearsals on Monday. Now that's a feel-good story. A story as good as Bridgerton's is only as good as the visuals allow it to be. To capture the magic that is the Bridgerton family, the costumes have to be absolutely perfect. That's why they went to world-famous corset maker Mark Ursine to handle this work. But the costumes weren't just made in the style of 19th century England. While sticking to the traditional design, the costume designer explained that they also introduced a modern color palette to brighten the show up. Phoebe Dynevor had 104 dresses for season 1. Whoa, I think I speak for all of us when I say, well done! And there you have it. These were the craziest behind-the-scenes moments and fun facts in Bridgerton.